Hi, good night. We're team number 4 and we're going to present you the project we've been working through the semester. Next, please. This is the index and here you can see the topics we're going to touch in this presentation. Next. Okay, for starters, our company will be exporting alebrijes to Mexico. I mean, from Mexico to Japan. And we should mention that alebrijes are a Mexican craft that are very traditional and they are elements of various animals, whether real or imaginary, and they are characterized by being painted with vibrant colors. And they have great recognition here in Mexico, but in the international level also. Next, please. So our target market, we decided to do it everything directly with the client. A retail will not be needed and neither a physical store. So anyone that is interested in buying our products can do it via the internet. And also the country entry strategy that we chose is through e-commerce. We chose this form because we think it's easy to with the travel time and cost, and we can gain new customers very easy and overcome geographical limitation, which we think is important. Next, please.
The sales forecast, we will expect to sell 600 alebrijes in 1 year, being that per month we'll have to sell 50 alebrijes, collecting 300 million pesos per month, and raising a total of 3,066,000 per year. And the price of each price of craft will be 6,000. The craft will do the cost of wood, paints, labor, export of the product, shipping tariffs, and other additional costs that may arise. Next, please. The operational risks in the export of alebrijes, we think that supply chain failures and others are delayed. This is a business risk, and it happens when a failure in the supply chain takes place at the time of the distribution and delivery from the supplier cannot deliver the material in time, thus requiring time to correct and restart the supply where it stopped. This is in return affects delivery times due to the maintenance, the logistics error change, delays in boarding. This is a booking error, and a common risk in exports are errors in logistics, such as delays due to different factors that occur at the time of shipment. The match of the time of shipment, defective goods, this is security risk, and goods damaged during shipment must be returned of refurbishment, and incorrect delivery, either an incorrect quantity or a different product. This is execution error, and when goods arrive at the wrong place, it is not the product that was expected or doesn't fulfill the expectations before mentioned. And the failures in the software, this is a system and technology risk, and is the operating system required for goods management and delivering, as well as the supply chain. Information fails and rendering much of operation of halt of at lower please than what project. Next, please.
The financial risks in the export of alebrijes. First of all, we have the yen currency increase. This can present a foreign exchange risk. Our risk here is that the value of the yen could increase, and this will affect our price since we sell our products in pesos. Then we have the rents from increasingly expensive premises. This can present a liquidity risk. Currently, it is difficult to find a place to rent with a not very high price, which may present a risk. Increasing the price of goods used to make alebrijes and is the main raw material in the making, the counterpart fails to make payments on time, credit risk. The company loses all the market value of the position, or more commonly, the part of the value that it cannot recover after the credit event. Changes in equity prices or commodity prices, interest rate moves or foreign exchange fluctuations, market risk. Our company may have the risk of losing financial investments caused by price movements or changes. Next, please. The measure and estimate risk exposures. So first of all, we have the business risk and the likelihood. It's 3, rates 15. Booking error, likelihood 2, impact rating 5, and result risk. The likelihood is 4, impact rating 5, and result 20. Execution error, likelihood 2, then the impact rating 4, and the result is 8. System and technology impact rating 4, and result is 12. Foreign exchange risk, likelihood it's 3, impact rating 5, and result 15. Liquidity risk, commodity price risk, likelihood 5, impact rating 5, result 25. Credit risk, it's 4, the impact rating is 5, and the result is 20. And lastly, the market risk, the likelihood is 3, impact rating 5, and the result is 15. Next, please.
Now I'm going to talk about the instruments that we choose to manage every risk. The first one is the commodity price risk, and the instrument that we will be using is futures because this will be used in every order when the quantity of the money invested in the whole raw material in the warehouse will not depreciate its value in the long term. And the cost of these instruments will be the 50% of the total warehouse value. Then on our credit risk, the instrument will be swaps because this method will reduce the credit risk value of the commodity. And the cost will be depending on the interest rate. In the liquidity risk, we'll be using put or call options. We can invest in some commodity options in the market, like gold, so it can provide us more liquidity. And the cost will be 25% of the total net expenses. In our security risk, we'll be using the instrument of insurance to protect the merchandise in the process of the transaction. And the cost will be 75% of what the product costs. In market risk, we have securitization. With this one, we can mitigate the loss of some of the investments and will only cost 1% of the account value per trade. In business risk, we will be using the method of warranties because as the delays must be paid and credit, we can support the payment with this technique, and the cost will be the total cost of the whole transaction.
Okay, so in the foreign exchange risk, I chose futures because in order that we don't lose the money with credits acquired in the medium or long term, and it's going to cost us 25% to 50% of the transaction. Then we have booking error, and the instrument we chose was insurance. Why? To protect the merchandise in the transaction. It's going to cost us 10% of what the product costs. Then we have system and technology risk, system failure. We chose a system administrator because it will help optimize the software and make it more effective so there aren't any errors. And the cost is going to be 10,000 to 20,000 per month. And lastly, the execution error. We chose insurance to protect the merchandise in the transactions, and it's going to cost us $80,000 to $120,000 per year. Next one, please. Okay, the basic choices in risk management. The risk is the commodity price risk. The instrument is futures, and the choice we made was to avoid the risk because the price of wood is vital for us. Then we have the credit risk. The instrument is swaps. We chose to avoid this risk because the company's losses are important. And then we have the liquidity risk. The instrument is put or call options, and we chose to avoid this risk because the rent of a place is needed.
Okay, then we have the security risk. This risk we covered with an insurance, and we choose to transfer this risk. That refers to transfer the risk to a third person. In this case, we take out an insurance to protect our merchandise from any damage. Then the market risk. This risk we covered with a securitization instrument. And for this, we choose to mitigate the risk because our company wants to prevent the risk of losing financial instruments. Then we have business risk, which we cover with warranties. And for this one, we also choose to mitigate risk because we want to prevent supply chain failures and orders delayed. For the foreign exchange risk that we cover with futures, this risk refers to the yen currency increase that affects us directly. So the best option is to avoid this risk. Then for the booking error, we also cover this risk with an insurance. And we choose to transfer this risk because as same as we need to protect the merchandise by taking out an insurance, we also need it for logistic error charges. For the system and technology risk, the instrument that we choose is a system administrator, and for this we decided to not take action, so we accept the risk because we believe it's not a priority and that will not affect that much to our company. And the last one is the execution error that we also cover it with an insurance. And as the same case that the previous one, we choose to transfer the risk because an insurance is needed in case of incorrect delivery.
All right. So far, we have seen all the background of our project. Let's talk about numbers. This part is very important in order to invest or not in this project. Okay, so we have 3 items, especially 15 centimeters, 25, and 35. On the sales budget, we have the different quantities per month. The first one of the first item is 250, and the next one is 150, and the next one is only 100. In total are 500 quantities of all the items sold per month. We have different price units, 300, 400, and 500 in order of the increasing of its value of the item. And multiplied these quantities, the quantities per month for the price of the unit, we have a subtotal of 7,000, 75,000, and 16,000, and 15,000. And in total, we have a total sales of $185,000 per month. These are dollars in order that we are going to export. And in variable expenses, we have in the different items, we have 250 of, well, the same quantities, and the cost of each product of each item, it's in this case the first one 225, and 300 the second one, and 375. And it's very different from the sales, especially the first item, but we have a subtotal in general of 138,750 in total of dollars, according to the sales and the variable expenses of each item. The fixed expenses, we have the services, worker salaries, manager, advertising, and seller salaries. We have different quantities in each one. We have only a total of one services. We are globaling the use of gas, of water, of light, electricity. I mean, we have a lot of services, but we globaling in order to have a fixed cost of $500. We have 20 workers. These are the ones who are working of each alebrije. We have a cost of 1,000 for each one, very well paid. And manager salaries, we have only one manager for everyone. This is $2,000. Advertising, we are going to expense, but it's more like an investment because it's very important, the advertising. $5,000, and the seller salaries, that is only three of them, it's $1,500. So total, we have $32,000 expense in all the fixed expenses. The assets, we have the warehouse. We are gonna buy the one warehouse, 3 machineries in order to make the alebrijes, to cut the wood and all that stuff, 3 detailing wood tools for the workers, the desks, the computers, the office stationery, the inventory, and the saving budget. This is, as it is said in Spanish, the caja chica. The inventory, it's 1 month in order to, if we are struggling 1 month and all that stuff, the next one, we have the specified saving for the next month in order to make all the orders that are going to be shipped. And it's for the warehouse, we have $300,000. The machinery, it's $3,000. The detailing wood, it's $2,000. The desks, $500 each one. The computer, $1,000. Office stationery, $500, and the inventory is $138,750. And the saving budget, it's only $30,000 in order because of the variable expenses and all that stuff. In subtotal, we have $518,250. Let's go to the next one. We have the income statement for 1 month period. We have the sales revenue, that is 185, and the variable expenses that are 138. Well, in this all the income statement, we have all the contribution margin, the contribution margin unit, and the fixed expenses. That comes with a net income and profit of 14,342 15 cents. So it's very well the investment we have with a surplus. So we have a very great gain for each month. And the break-even point, we have 345 for the fixed expense and the cost margin unit. And the sales revenue, we have the same one, 185, and fixed expenses, it's 28,500,000, and the total expenses that are $150,000. So the volume products, we agreed to have 500. We see the break-even point in the graph. So we have or we agreed to have a very decent breaking point in order to we don't have less dollars or a lose in our project. So the cash flow rejected to 5 years. We're gonna see with beta also in the next slides. But in these investments, we have a total of 432,766 with 39 cents. So we have a very good in the investment that at this the total of 518 250,000, and because it's the total of all the sales and the expenses, also the investments in the warehouse and all that stuff. But we put the profit for 1G with 5% each year. So it's a very good profit accordingly to the final income and the final surplus of the project. We are gonna see this better that it's gonna be explained also by our partner.
Bueno, esto lo voy a decir en español para no revolverme, pero estas tablas vienen siendo la primera que vemos aquí a nuestra izquierda, es de precios ajustados, y son las fechas de los meses de 5 años, en la cual vienen los precios de cierre de cada mes de Nikkei 225, la cual es la bolsa de valores de Japón. Como vamos a exportar a Japón, pues nos basamos en las 225 empresas más importantes de Japón. Y en la derecha viene la empresa que nosotros investigamos. En la siguiente columna vienen los precios de esta empresa y en el último renglón viene el promedio de todos, como podemos ver. Y también la tablita de aquí abajo es sobre el rendimiento mensual de Nikkei y de la empresa, que viene siendo básicamente lo mismo que viene en la primera tabla. Y esta última tabla blanca que vemos acá es el rendimiento mensual esperado, igual de Nikkei y de la empresa, la varianza mensual, la covarianza y la beta. Y estas las sacamos con sus respectivas fórmulas. La beta la sacamos la covarianza entre la varianza mensual y nos salió 1.32. Y esa es de Nikkei. La siguiente, por favor. Y esta tabla es sobre la varianza del mercado. Igual agarramos los datos de las tablas pasadas y es el rendimiento promedio y el rendimiento mensual menos el rendimiento promedio y rendimiento mensual menos rendimiento promedio al cuadrado. Ahí vienen las fórmulas y la tabla de aquí abajito viene siendo la sumatoria, el número de eventos y la varianza. La sumatoria la sacamos, es la suma de la tercera columna y nos dio ese número. Y la varianza es la sumatoria entre la cantidad de eventos que nos dio esos decimales. Y ya siguiente.
Muy bien, también esta la voy a explicar en español, siguiendo de mi compañera. Bien, en sobre el mercado del Nikkei y de la empresa, viene siendo el rendimiento mensual menos el rendimiento ponderado de cada mes, cada 5 años. Y en total, pues aquí vemos la sumatoria de estas dos, ¿no? La sumatoria de tanto el Nikkei como de la empresa. En sí viene siendo la sumatoria del porcentaje del 17.58% positivo a lo que viene siendo en general del Nikkei. Pues vemos que hay unos meses que son positivos, otros negativos, y esto nos identifica que para empezar el exportar a Japón es una buena inversión, sobre todo porque el mercado de la bolsa de valores en general viene positivo, y hablando en temas económicos, teniendo el 17% o arriba del 10%, y es una muy buena inversión, sobre todo para un seguro para nosotros de que no vamos a tener ningún efecto negativo por devaluaciones de lo que viene siendo de la moneda o alguna variación externa económica. En general, pues tenemos igual el porcentaje de la beta, la beta que viene siendo con el que pudimos sacar más adelante el KPM, y pues la covarianza que viene siendo, bueno, la cantidad de eventos que tenemos, que son 58 eventos por los 5 años, la covarianza que es 0.30%, y pues vamos a la siguiente. Esta parte que viene siendo el KPM, que viene siendo el rendimiento de la empresa, que viene siendo el rendimiento final, con la beta menos el rendimiento de lo que viene siendo el rendimiento del mercado y el rendimiento fijo, mejor dicho, que es el RF, el rendimiento fijo que viene siendo el 5%, la beta que viene siendo el 1.32, que es lo que ya hemos visto, y el rendimiento del mercado que viene siendo el 0.74 con 36%. Eso en total nos vino a dar un menos 0.64 con 98% para el rendimiento de la empresa. Esto para algunos puede significar que es negativo porque viene en menos, pero en realidad no es, porque cuando ya viene siendo mayor de 1 es que viene siendo más riesgoso para nosotros, que eso ya nos afectaría y que viene siendo más riesgoso para el mercado. Entonces, mientras más negativo sea el número en este caso, es mejor inversión. Y el net present value, que viene siendo el profit con el investment, podemos ver que tenemos los $518,225 en el investment, y el profit per year, pues aquí lo venimos viendo desglosado por cada 5 años. Total nos viene a dar, a partir de todo eso, con el investment y todo lo demás, el net present value de lo que viene siendo todas las ganancias en cada año, mejor dicho, son $452,206 mil dólares en lo que viene siendo. Entonces, esto en total nos viene diciendo que el proyecto pues sí puede ser aceptado para los inversionistas, en este caso, porque viene siendo con una gran ganancia, acercándose en total a lo que viene siendo el retorno de inversión lo más pronto posible en 5 años, y con los profit que venimos anteriormente. Entonces, con esto podemos dar por concluido nuestro proyecto. Esperemos que más adelante se pueda proseguir a hacer la inversión, y más que nada pues sería algo redituable tanto para los inversionistas como para nosotros, el poder seguir exportando tanto la cultura mexicana como en temas económicos para el crecimiento económico de nosotros, del país de México. Y pues como cierre, como dice Carlos Slim, pues no hay mejor trabajo, no hay mejor arreglo para la economía mexicana que dar empleos, ¿no? Entonces, pues por lo mismo, acordamos todos en que hay que hacer una inversión, hay que expandirnos y hay que seguir haciendo pues negocios en este país. Y sería todo.